Facebook. The Facebooky Live. What's up, guys? Sound like a smoker, so you're going to have to bear with it. Have to do the bearing with it. Let me make sure it's shared right on my end so nobody has any lag.
Man, Andrew Luck threw the ball 40 times today and only had 164 yards.
Because they're not letting him throw any further than -2 yards. Oh, look at that. We already got 2 viewers. Hey. Wave at everybody. They're like, who's that new co-host with the raspy voice? Is he a Just Say No representative?
Children, this is what happens to you when you smoke cigarettes.
Please don't smoke cigarettes. And I don't even smoke. It was funny, actually. Hey, Allison, what's up? Thanks for checking in. Not Hayes, Kirkpatrick. I know. Wah, wah. We love you too, but oh, that's funny. No, when I did his post game, it was funny because I was literally drinking water because I didn't have a voice by the end of Friday night, and then I just handed it to you because I was like, I got about 20 seconds from the last drink, so we got to get these questions in quick. All right, let's get this started. What is up, high school football fans? This is Greg Schaefer, your lead host of the Ryan Aiello Postgame Show, brought to you by the East of the Bend podcast, soon to be East of the Bend Productions. East of the Bend Productions. Got my co-host here, Will Havanas, and chief photographer. That sounds really good. I like that. What's up, dude?
Hey, what up, man?
So, the wave fell, unfortunately. A great fight. Great game, man. Fought back twice, down 14 points. They fell behind. Final score was 28-21, unfortunately, on the year. I think this is going to be one of those years you kind of look back on and wonder what could have been, how close they are sitting right now to being 4-1.
I mean, yeah, you think about it. Outside of that one game, they've been in every game up until the last,
Well, even that game, it was a weird game plan. It was something they didn't plan for, was the quarterback getting hurt and then throwing their 6'90" running back in the backfield, and it's just something they didn't really plan for. So, yeah, unfortunate. Great fight by these guys. I think it's a lot to build on going forward. We'll get ready to talk to Coach here in a little bit. I think he's overall happy with the fight and the performance. But, obviously it's all about getting that W. So,
yeah, they're just right there.
They are.
I mean, it's like one play here, one play there.
And I still think they're going to get one they're not supposed to, because the general consensus is, they're underdogs to Valley and Johnstown, and then they're actually favored in 3 other games, Northridge, Utica this week, and in Heath. But, I think they're going to get one they're not supposed to. And if they can, the other one they're not supposed to get, I think, could be interesting too. Because, again, I think personally, and I think Coach would agree, it comes down to learning how to win.
Just
trying to figure out how to win. So before we get rolling any further, I know there's only a couple people watching right now. That's fine. Hopefully get some more in here. Find us on Facebook at East of the Bend, on Twitter at East of the Bend. We'll be throwing this up on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play. Anywhere you find podcasts, we'll be there. It's right along. It's under East of the Bend, so I didn't want to create 2 separate things. So because we actually have some followers following Newark Catholic this year that are actually outside of Central Ohio, and some of them have no ties. I've been contacted by some people, and they really like the content. A few people out there, they give us likes and stuff during the live videos we shoot, and they're all pumped about it, and I'm like, this person has no Newark Catholic tie whatsoever. But that's cool, though.
They like us. They
really
like us.
Well, 17 people clearly do not, because they follow us and don't like us. So, and then I do want to get one thing out there about the primary podcast, East of the Bend. Obviously, this is the secondary one. Coach Aiello Postgame Show is next Sunday. That'd be the 30th. We got Andy Bitter from The Athletic. He's a beat writer for Virginia Tech coming on, and we're going to do a Notre Dame Virginia Tech preview, similar to how we did with Chris Long from VandySports.com. So that'll be kind of cool if you guys are interested in that, or even if you don't like Notre Dame or Virginia Tech. It's kind of a big show for us when we're able to get these guys in here from places like Rivals or from places like The Athletic, which is really blowing up. And who knows? I mean, might be a pipe dream, maybe some people think, but the Athletic is kind of a company that picks up people like us. So that's kind of cool to be able to talk to somebody like him. He's wrote for Virginia Tech forever. So with that being said, let's get Coach called back. Grab my notes here. And my clipboard is still soaked, by the way. The shirt did dry for those following me on Twitter. I was pretty concerned about it.
Hello.
Hey, Coach, you're live with us. How you doing, buddy?
Well, doing well. How are you guys?
Doing good, man. I promise the next game. I can't promise it, but I'm hoping there's no rain. I really do. Like, man. And your khakis
we'll deal with it either way.
Your khakis are like made of Kevlar too, because you're just going through it. And you're like, forget it. I'm out there in the truck complaining like a 14-year-old girl changing into jeans, having casual Friday at East of the Bend, and here's Coach out there like trudging through it.
Yep.
Yeah. So before we talk about the game, Coach, something I wanted to ask you about, just to give fans a little insight. What do you guys post game on like Saturday and Sunday? What do you guys do as a team on Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, what we do is we bring in the varsity kids at 9:00 in the morning. Then we go through defensive and offensive film, highlight some things on special teams as needed, just to learn from our mistakes. What we need to do better, what we did well, so we can kind of create some clarity and focus on what we need to focus on that following week. And then Sundays, what we do, the kids have off on Sundays, and then the remaining part of Saturday afternoon, we get together as coaches about 9:00 in the morning as well, put together our offensive, defensive, and special teams game plans.
Mm-hmm. Now, was it in the game plan? Have you ever had a situation like that where you were delayed that long? Have you ever been a part of something like that?
I've been a part of some delays. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. We were delayed for about an hour and a half there. Fortunately, I tell you, we've got a great group of parents and support system at Newark Catholic. So we were fairly proactive in anticipating the fact that there might be a delay, so we're able to get some snacks in there for the kids. A big emphasis that we make. Going into the season and even throughout the season, it's just our nutrition, hydration, all those small things. And that's a huge part of, the energy and the, essentially the outcome of how our players play is the nutrients and what they put in their body. So we had some snacks in there for the kids to hold them off about, throughout that hour and a half.
Yeah, what do you do to keep those guys motivated? You don't want to be too high too early. We and Will even talked about, honestly, home field advantage was gone, in my opinion. I think it worked in your guys' favor to have the delay.
Definitely. It definitely did. I tell you, I saw that band coming in for Heights. That was pretty impressive in itself. That's a lot of people that they lost there, unfortunately. It sounded like they were doing a pretty good job. So, yeah, I think it definitely helped us from that standpoint. As far as motivation, we really didn't do anything. Hey, stay calm, stay relaxed. Obviously we don't want to get into a hoorah type moment and lose, get too energized and lose focus from that standpoint. Stay calm, stay relaxed. Talk amongst one another, focus on the game, visualize what they need to do.
Mm-hmm. And for future reference for fans, what do you know what the time limit is before they would move that to the next day?
So it was based on us as coaches, and both myself, both coaches, I should say, we wanted to get it done that night. So they were, as referees, as long as we were on the same page, we were going to do whatever we needed to do, and however late it needed to be to get that game in on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But my understanding is, I think once it gets to, if it was to go to like midnight or something like that, I think then OHSAA steps in and says you have to complete it on Saturday morning.
Yeah, my wife has.
I'm not for sure on that though. Please don't quote me on that.
Oh, it's recorded now. So
it's on record.
Yep.
Yeah, I think my wife had said that from her time when she was cheerleading, that something like at 9:30, 10 o'clock, if the game hasn't started, then they postpone it to the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Coach. I think it's good just for fans to know so they have a general idea, because some of them are paying delirium out in the parking lot. It's 7:40. They're canceling it, and others are like, nah, they'll play it at 3 a.m. So it's good. It's always somewhere in between. So
Yes. Yep.
All right, Coach. So to the game, one thing Greg and I have noticed, and I'm sure you guys have noticed this too, is that your defense seems to be your strength for your team all season so far. But on their first two drives, they just marched down the field and they scored. Was there something in their scheme that was giving you guys fits, or something you just hadn't planned for?
No, again, I think given the situation, a little bit unique having that hour and a half delay, I do. I think we just had to settle in and adjust to our surroundings, get settled in with their speed, their schemes of what they're doing. Again, very talented team. I don't think there was anything crazy that they did. Looking back at it and after reviewing film that caught us by surprise. Again, it was our execution. We were able to get them into 4th and 9 scenario, but we lined off sides, put it in 4th and short as opposed to 4th and long. You can't get in those situations. You can't give good teams like that the opportunity to capitalize on our mistakes. So that was that was a big issue. Again, we had them in 3rd and I think it was 15, 3rd and 17, something like that. Execution, they're a team that we had known going into it that would run some screens in those scenarios, didn't execute in the back end and retracing our steps as a defensive line in order to capitalize on that opportunity. And well designed by them, well executed by them. They were able to get that 3rd and 15 and capitalize into a huge first down play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was, it kind of, was that a play call? Was that kind of what they zigged when you zagged, or was that a breakdown on the backside coverage there on the screen?
Yeah, definitely breakdown in the backside. Again, anytime you get an offensive lineman that allows you to come through as a defensive lineman, you need to retrace your steps immediately back to that point to find that running back and or wide receiver. Same thing as a linebacker. You have to identify key through that offensive line to the backfield to visualize where that running back is. As those offensive linemen release, you need to make sure you find that seam in relation to the safety and corner to fit, outside in that scenario, to force it back to the defensive lineman.
Yeah, kind of one of those things I was always told, if you get through too easy, there's a pretty good reason for it.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
exactly right. But big plays were just, again, our defense has been doing a good job, but you can't give a team like Licking Heights the opportunity to have big plays. You have to limit that. And we didn't. Again, you look at that last touchdown that they scored, you can't give them those big plays, those explosive plays.
Yeah, Coach, you guys had some snapping issues, which did kind of play with the momentum there. And can you talk about that a little bit? Was that a product of the weather, new quarterback back there, or, cadence being a little bit different? Or, tell me what was going on with the snap there early, because they did clean it up. It seemed like it was cleaned up in the second half, but the first half it seemed definitely having some trouble.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it was all three, to be honest with you. We had to, again, we respected their front. Respected some of the pressures that they were able to bring from a linebacker standpoint. So we had to change up our cadence a little bit, to try to keep them off balance, whether we went on quick, went on two. So some of it was that in relation to a new center and quarterback. We've really only had them going full time for a week now. So some of that was a part of it. And again, the weather. We had a wet ball, although we were fortunate that it wasn't raining throughout the game. It was still a very wet field. And you saw that Heights had some issues with that as well. But again, when you play a team like that and we're in that type of situation, that can't happen. We have to execute in those crucial situations because, again, early on in that first quarter, we were able to get some momentum. We started driving the football, and sure enough, ball goes over our head, and we lose some critical field position.
Yeah, I think if I was interviewing the Heights coach, I think I'd probably have the same question in my show flow, to be honest with you, because it wasn't much better, and that was a veteran quarterback. That was their guy back there.
Mm-hmm.
So
mm-hmm.
Now one thing that kind of impressed me, not so much a question, but one of the things, that fans don't get to see, or maybe even some of the players don't get to hear, and it's an advantage that you've given us the privilege for, is to be able to see stuff like this, is after one of the turnovers, you looked at Lucas on the field, and you reminded him of the good pass that he had down the middle. He's a little disappointed in himself. Second drive, I think it was, and fumble recovery by Licking Heights. And you looked at him, and it wasn't anything about the snap. It was all about the pass before that and how nice it was, and something about remember that pass right there. And I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, I mean it's always important that we focus on the positives in those types of situations. To dwell on the negative during the game, again, in my opinion, it doesn't do anybody any good. A big focus for us as a team, and we've been preaching this really now for the past few weeks is when and throughout the game of football. I'll even back up one more step. Football, it's momentum shifts throughout the course of a game, right? In a positive and in a negative way. And one thing that we talk to these kids about is when that shifts away from us, how do we get it back? Well, it's not a motivational speech. It's not something that just magically happens. You just have to focus on one play at a time and the execution all 11 players. We focus on having a positive play, whether it's 3-4 yards, whether it's a touchdown, whatever it may be. Focus on the next play and that execution. We have a positive play. Okay, then we focus on that next play. Have another positive play. Now we start to get a series of positive plays. That's going to get us the momentum back, right? And that's what I wanted Lucas to focus on. The positive plays that occurred. Let's build off of that. So the next time he goes out there, you need to focus on what you need to do and just make sure it's positive. We build that foundation and structure, and we'll get the momentum back.
Well, yeah, you guys obviously did that because the team settled in, and you guys put together a scoring drive in the second quarter. Were there some matchups that you guys saw that you thought maybe you could take advantage of, or some matchups that you really liked?
I wouldn't say it was specifically matchups because, again, very, very talented team. I think there were some aspects within the coverage that we wanted to expose some of our route combinations with and some of our run game with. There were some spots that we thought, I don't want to say weaknesses, but things that fit the strengths of what we do within our passing game that we could expose. So we really try to emphasize that and find different ways to expose that. Within our route combinations and in our schemes and what we do.
Yeah, very, going into halftime, you kind of stopped their momentum. It was 14-7 going into half. What was the message to the team at halftime?
Hey, keep going, keep building. Don't lose sight on what we needed to do. There were a couple things that we needed to adjust and tweak on both sides of the ball to better meet the needs. Unfortunately, we lost a great senior on Friday night, Mason Moore. So we had to adjust from a schematic standpoint and personnel standpoint in that scenario there. So wanted to get those adjustments, wanted to get the adjustments with special teams. So that was still a threat for us, a tool for us in the special teams game. So had to get those things adjusted. But, hey, believe in what we're doing and play 24 minutes of football.
Now, from what we've seen in the first half, Lucas kind of started a little slower. But to us, I feel like he really settled down and got comfortable going into halftime. Did you feel that way as well?
Oh, definitely. And you could see the confidence build in each and every quarter, which was very exciting. That's why I can't wait to get started, tomorrow and practicing with him, because I think each and every snap that he has, he's going to get more confidence, feel more comfortable in that type of position, and get more acclimated with our other wide receivers and running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you guys came back after halftime, and the team has really kind of got the momentum. You guys are doing good. Lucas is doing good. And then Licking Heights comes out and they score on their first drive to start the second half. Did they just execute better, or was there something that specifically happened that they took advantage of?
Yeah, it was definitely, I got to give them the credit for their execution and what they were doing. Obviously, again, we got in some third down and long scenarios, and we just can't give them those plays. We've got to find a way to get off the field. That's going to be a big emphasis for us going into this week. We can't give them those types of plays. We have to make sure we're getting off the field in third down, especially third and long scenarios.
Yeah, Coach. And then, the defense steps up again. You guys, you get a stop. And then, honestly, I think from what I've attended so far, this might have been the most exciting stretch of events all season. I mean, you guys get the touchdown. You guys, block punt. You put it in again, and then you're going for the onside kick and recover it. Tied up, seemingly down 14, you get a touchdown, then you're down 14 again. It's just kind of one of those games, well, they're hanging close, but next thing you know, we're tied up. I guess first off, tell me about the play call and the execution on the second touchdown pass on the sideline over there from Lucas to Grant Myers.
Yeah, we again, Grant has done a great job at wide receiver and DB for us. This entire season, he's come up with some big plays. I know there's some very good chemistry, between those two young men as well. Again, based on some coverage stuff that we saw within Heights secondary and linebacker play, thought we might have an opportunity to drop it in on that corner route there. So just good execution among both young men and our offensive line.
Yeah, I watched the video we have of that play again, and you can see Lucas rolling out, and he looks at Grant, and he waves his hand for him to run towards the sideline, and then he just puts it there. And I was standing right there in the back of the end zone, and Grant made such a hell of a catch. It was so great.
Yeah, especially in the conditions, too.
It was a great catch, laid out for it. And he made a couple, throughout the course of the night that were critical, along with those other wide receivers as well to get us into that situation.
Yeah, I was almost afraid the ref wasn't going to see it. And I threw my hands up for the touchdown, smiling and everything. And I was like, ref, you better call that a touchdown.
We're down there referee influencing for you.
The same thing. We try to get the whole sideline to make sure we're saying touchdown, right? Don't give the ref the opportunity to question.
You guys you'll appreciate that one.
I appreciate that, Will.
Yeah. You guys will appreciate that one when we put the highlight reel together, because it literally happened at my feet, and I got it on video for you guys.
That's awesome.
So
thanks, guys, for capturing that.
Back to that series of events. For those that didn't hear our post-game talk there, tell us about that decision to go for the onside kick, man. I mean, Coach Aiello just said, I'm laying my stones on the table, and they're smashing the table, and we're getting this ball back. Tell us about that decision and kind of what went into that, and the recovery, the excitement you must have had after the recovery.
Yeah, definitely. We I tell you, one thing is it's not really an onside kick. What it is we respect it as coaches, their returners. They've got some very talented young men in those returning positions, so we didn't want to give them the opportunity to have the ball. Ryan Auer, our sophomore kicker, who's been doing a fabulous job from a PAT field goal standpoint, and on his kickoffs. Didn't want to give them the opportunity, so we called a sky kick, right? So it's a kick where it gets up in the air a little bit. We try to drop it the best we can around that 30 to 35-yard line, and obviously have great coverage, make sure we're covering downfield, knowing that we're going to get some guys that typically are not in return scenarios. In those scenarios, put some pressure on them. And that's what happened. Our kids executed. Ryan had a great kick. They covered down well, put a lot of pressure on those young men in those tight end fullback scenarios, and we're able to get the ball back.
Yeah, you guys got that back, and I really felt the momentum really swing, and I was like, here we go. They're going to get the W and everything like that. But then they stopped you on that right after that onside kick, and they got the ball, and you guys had them 3rd and long, and then they threw that post right up the middle. The kid caught it, and he ran it for a 62-yard touchdown. Was there a breakdown in that play, or did it just surprise you on the play call?
No, there was. We didn't get over quick enough in our cover 3. Heights said before, within film and really throughout the course of the game, a big part of their offense was that jet sweep. Again, they've got some very talented men on those perimeter plays. So what they'll do is they'll bring the backside receiver across, hand him the ball, try to get you on the outside. So as a result, we would spin our safety down to try to get a run fit there outside their number 2 receiver so that they would have nowhere to go. And then as a result, we would bring our backside safety over the top to cross read on those number 3s. And we were just a little bit delayed on getting over there. In addition to that, we were telling those guys that would rotate down and in our outside linebacker positions to get some reroutes. We didn't get the reroutes we needed to, and you can't give those types of talented players free releases. We have to get some reroutes on those guys. So between those two, it was a perfect combination for them.
Yeah, it was a great ball. I mean, honestly, it was a good ball, and for the kid it was basically backyard. I'm gonna throw it up, and you're gonna go run and catch it.
Yeah.
I even read the kid said in the paper, He said, "I seen the ball in the air, and it was such a good pass. There's no way I couldn't go get it." That was his quote.
It was a well executed play by them, and again, we just can't give clean releases, and we've got to make sure we're executing perfectly on the backside of that safety, and we didn't, and something we've got to clean up and work on this week.
Mm-hmm. So, Coach, another close loss this week. You guys you're right there. Me and Will talked before the show, actually before on the show, but before we called you back, that once you guys really get this, you guys get one, I think you're going to get several. You guys got a new quarterback in there. What was your message to the team in the locker room post game?
I'll be honest, it was exactly that. We are inches away from getting this thing to click together, and there is no other choice but to continue to learn and to continue to build off of what we are doing, because each and every week we are finding ways to get in this game and to capitalize on different things. We've got to find a way to finish 4 quarters. And I told him, this one does hurt. We were so close, but yet we didn't get we didn't get the result that we wanted, the overall outcome. So we've got to continue to go to work. We've got to learn from our mistakes. We've got to pick up on Monday. We've got a great opportunity against Utica this week. It's our homecoming, so there's going to be a lot of emotion in it. We're going to be at home. So just really looking forward to the opportunity and getting to work this week.
Yeah, it's almost like the kids just learning how to win. I know you understand that. Greg and I understand that. For all the fans out there, there's just something about learning how to win when you're not always winning. And you guys won the turnover battle, you won the special teams. The next step is winning that game. So you guys are just right there. And I hope,
you're exactly right, Will. We are, and that's the thing. These aren't the times to get down. Right?
Yeah.
We got an opportunity again. That's a great team in Licking Heights. We've had a lot of great teams that we've played. Watkins, great job. Academy, what they're doing over there. We've played a lot of great teams, and we're so close. Very well. The outcomes of these games could be very different, but they're not. So we've got to learn from that. We've got to get things on track. We've got to find a way to finish 4 quarters, and that's going to be the emphasis going into this week, is winning everything that we do, competing in everything that we do. Believe me, we are not taking a step back at all, nor have we. We're going to continue to move forward. We're going to continue to learn. We're going to continue to build, and that's how we will establish that winning culture.
Yeah. Lucas, he had a pretty good performance stepping in and playing quarterback. I think he went for 150 yards and a couple touchdowns. So were you happy about that? You guys going to build off of that?
Oh, definitely. I couldn't be more pleased with him. I couldn't be more pleased with the offense overall. It's not easy to adjust quarterbacks mid-season, from a full-time standpoint. So very pleased with our wide receivers. Our tight end, we had a young man at tight end step up. True, freshman for us, did a great job. Our offensive line and their blocking and how they're starting to click a little bit more and to help out Lucas in this transition. So very pleased with all 11 guys. In that type of a scenario, we've just got to build off of it and adjust a little bit more to Lucas's strengths and identify some of his weaknesses in there so we can better put him and the rest of that offense in a position to be successful.
Yeah, by the end of that game, I had if I didn't know any better, I wouldn't know that was a backup quarterback in there, or somebody that had played wide receiver, all throughout the spring, summer, probably prepped last, was he wide receiver last year as well?
Yes, he was.
Okay, yeah. So all winter he's doing wide receiver specific things, and then he hops out there and he's, there was a couple throws that I'm sure you would agree that he, maybe forced, or he kind of needs, I feel like, to learn when the play might be dead and he may need to just take off, or when to pull the trigger, and he doesn't always have to throw because it's a pass. Is it because you called a pass? I've seen a couple plays like that, if you would agree with that.
Oh, and he mentioned that to me. He's a very intelligent young man, and he would even come off the field and just say, hey, I should have done this in this scenario. As we were watching the game on Saturday, hey, I should have done this. It's just a learning process for him, and he will. He's identifying already what he needed to do, who he needed to look for. We discussed on Saturday as well. Hey, I just need to work on these types of reads, whether it's I'm reading the corner in this concept, I'm reading the outside linebacker, safety in this concept. He's already getting acclimated with those things, which is very exciting.
Do you have any injury updates for us this week, Coach? Anybody coming back, or I know Mason's out. Are you able to provide us with any injury updates there?
I haven't received 100% confirmation on where he's at. I know, unfortunately, anytime a senior gets hurt, I feel for that young man. And Mason Lord, he's just been doing an extraordinary job in the variety, all three phases, offensively, defensively, and special teams. So hopefully we're going to get some positive news. We'll find out more on Monday. With that stuff, there's an opportunity. I know Trey Tigner, who's a senior as well. We've been missing him greatly, and what he brings to the offensive and defensive line. We're hoping to get him back in the next couple of weeks. He's been doing great with his progression and physical therapy and all that other stuff. Looking forward to getting Derek Hawk back. We're hoping to get Derek Hawk back this week, get him some reps moving into Friday.
Yeah, I spoke to him before the game, and he said, he was going to get back at it this week, and his physical therapist said everything was good. He seems excited to get back.
Oh yeah, he's a young man, just loves the game of football, wants to compete. We're really looking forward to getting back what he offers from an athletic standpoint. Again, he's got a lot of different tools that we can utilize in a variety of different ways, so that's going to allow us to open up our offense a little bit more. And it's going to be exciting too with Lucas in the mix and what we can do with both of those guys, in addition to Mikey and Drew, Grant and some of these younger wide receivers that are really stepping up. Really looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to Mikey going off, because I'm going to make him my first player interview is going to be Mikey, if you'll allow me to, Coach, because I'm dying for him to have an over 100-yard game. I'm dying.
Greg's trying to put him on his fantasy football roster.
Yeah, exactly. He's on my fantasy team.
He's been working very hard.
I love
I think him and the offensive line are really starting to mesh, and he's starting to see, what we want out of our blocking schemes. It's improving. It is. And it is. Once that thing clicks, just as we were talking about, just clicking with those wins and just getting those extra couple inches and yards, he's a huge part of that. And once it does, he's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely. So we're on to Utica this week. Utica's 1-4, kind of struggling right now. Offensively, they haven't scored in over 2 weeks. The last two games they've been shut out. Did have a win against Fredericktown, but Fredericktown 0-5. It looks like they lean on their offensive line quite a bit. They're kind of balanced, but they also will run some Wildcat stuff as well. They got this huge freaking receiver, right? 6'3", 230. This Mac Martson. So that's a big kid. How do you guys plan on defending their offense?
Yeah, he's a talented young man. They've got a lot of they come out in some different sets, some different ways to get him the ball and do some different concepts. To try to disguise that. Screens are a big part of what they're doing. I know they get some of the jet sweep stuff, some floods, some different type of ISO combinations out of the run game. So they are very diverse. A lot of these teams that we have been playing from an offensive standpoint are very diverse. They do a good job of finding different ways to get different playmakers the ball. So we've got a couple different sets and how we want to attack it, different coverages, different fronts that I think will suit our strengths and capitalize on some of the things that they're doing.
Yeah, talk about diverse. I know we talked about it on Wednesday on our call Wednesday evening. You weren't kidding about Licking Heights and the different sets that they play. Everything from a Maryland eye to 5 wide. And it looked like they even ran some triple option sometimes, the way they motioned their guy out of the backfield. It was kind of like, I know coaches say that a lot, they run almost all the sets. They'll run anything. And no, they literally didn't have, I wouldn't even say they would have an identity. Not that that's a knock on them, because they're obviously 4-1 successful team. But wow, I was very shocked. You hear of a team running a Maryland eye at times, that's all power, right? Yep. But that quarterback, he could sling it. That's for sure.
Yes, he can. He is, again, very talented player. And they had a nice little wrinkle in there. I got to give them a lot of credit. And how they shifted into that Maryland eye, that kind of took us off balance in a couple series. We had to draw some things up because we had not seen them shift into that type of a set. It was a very well planned change up by them.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as Utica, we talked about the offense. Is there anybody on defense and that we should be on the lookout for as far as impact players? And what kind of defense is Utica bringing on Friday?
Yeah, they do a couple different things. I don't know if there's one particular player that I want to single out for them. I mean, overall as a defense, they do a good job getting off the ball up front. Very sound in their coverage concepts and what they're doing. A lot of one high stuff that they do to close the middle of the field, which is I always think is a very sound coverage as well. So they do a very good job, of keeping you off balance in some of the things that they're doing, and some of the blitzes that they're bringing up the middle and on the perimeter.
Yeah, so it's gonna be an exciting game. Utica, they're always big, always physical.
Mm-hmm.
It's a farm school. In fact, it's my wife's alma mater. She went to school there, believe it or not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she went there. So actually, we got a busy day Friday. I don't know if you've heard. Yeah. So we're working like 10 hours on Friday because we got recruited for the
pep rally.
The pep rally.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be there at the pep rally east of the Bend.
Awesome.
You'll get to meet one of my guys. He's an admin of ours from Cincinnati. So he'll be
great.
the third man in the mix, and then Shook's back this week to help cover.
Oh, cool.
So we're going to cover the pep rally, and then I got tied in with, and you'll meet Charlie. He's the head coach, Charlie Rowley, head coach of Utica. He's one of the outside of you, one of the nicest guys ever. But
I'm looking forward to meeting him.
So I just met him recently at a wedding, and I got tied into. He said, "Yeah, you can interview me before and after the game too." I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. It helps me, and so I'm not cheating on you. I'm just helping. I'm just helping my." And so North Catholic fans, they don't bring out the pitchforks. It's good for me to practice. I just want to make Coach Aiello look better. That's all.
Yeah,
so, that's it. But yeah, he's a really nice guy. He's a young guy too. I think he's about our age. You're like what, 33, 34?
Yeah, 34.
Yeah, he's like
he's your guys' age.
Oh, that's true.
I've hit that 40 mark.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So
hey, last thing, Coach. I want to get one of those green Newark Catholic hats that you guys have, that you guys are wearing.
Like he has nothing better to do.
I know. Look, I got cash ready. Just point me in
the baseball caps you're talking about?
Yeah. Just point me in the right direction of who I need to talk to and who I need to give money to.
Yep, I'll find that out on Monday where we can get some of those.
All the way at like the 14th page.
Yeah,
of his daily.
That's number one on your priority list, right?
His daily
not a problem. We'll get it squared away.
And you got an epic speech prepared for this pep rally on Friday. I haven't been to a pep rally since like 2004.
Man, I haven't even been in high school for 20 years.
So there's that.
Yeah, this is going to be my first one in forever as well. I'll tell you, it's been a very long time. Actually, probably goes back all the way to St. Joe because I never got involved with them at Bishop Reedy just because I had a full-time job. So I hadn't been a part of those. So this will be exciting. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, Coach. We appreciate your time, and we actually have a whole nother show coming up next. We'll get them both sent to you. We're doing double duty on Sundays now. We do your show, and then we do the actual East of the Bend podcast. That's still a thing. I know you're the important guy.
Hey, I think it's what you guys do is absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
it's pretty neat. You guys do it the right way.
Well, we're doing our best, Coach. We appreciate it, and I'll give you a call again if you're good with it. We'll talk on Wednesday on your way home from practice. Okay.
Sounds great.
All right, Coach. You have a good week of practice, and we look forward to talking on Wednesday.
Yep. Take care, guys. Thank you for everything that you're doing.
Absolutely. See ya. All right, guys. That wraps up Coach's call for this week, week 5. Like Coach said, I mean, there's not much more that can be said without repeating ourselves. It's right there.
I mean, fans, just hang on. Like, it's right there. I mean, you can just see it. They're just one play, 2 plays away every game they've been in until the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter. So just hang tight with them, guys. They're gonna get it.
The hardest part, though, and I hate to be Debbie Downer on that statement, is for the seniors and the senior parents. That's the toughest part. But you know what? As hard a schedule as they play, it's still out there. I mean, it really is. It's going to take 5 straight. They have to go 6-4, but what they've developed, that's one thing North Catholic's always done, is the schedule's out there. You guys play one Division 6 school. You're a Division 6 team last time I looked still. You have 2 Division 2 schools on the schedule. Everybody is at 5 or above. So there's still some things to play for. It's just at this point you get the ladder out and you're looking one rung at a time. There's nothing else that can be said. For that. And next season, if North Catholic keeps us around, I don't know what I'm going to do without Allison Kirkpatrick. She just said, Fred Wendy, these boys need a hat. Can you hook them up? He said he has cash. So,
yeah.
So much for not being credential media, and credential media is supposed to be non-biased. First off, we do fist bumps on the sidelines because we're so stoked about North Catholic doing well, and now you're wearing the North Catholic hat. So.
You know what? Hey, whatever. I don't care at this point.
Yeah, I know. It really is. It's exciting for all of us. We're really hoping that hoping things get turned around. I think they got a good shot this week. I think the biggest thing, one of my final thoughts on this, is bringing the intensity. Because if they play the same way they played these first 5 weeks against Utica, it's all a spade. I know I've developed a nice relationship in the time I met Charlie, head coach of Utica. They'll blow Utica out.
Yeah,
this should not be close.
And if they come out the gates ready to play and just say, "Hey, we're here, we're ready. Let's do this right off the bat."
Yeah.
Game, set, match.
The problem is bringing that intensity each week, because we do that. Oh, if we'd have just, I do that with Notre Dame. You probably do that with Ohio State. Man, if we'd have played against, shut up. Yeah, that's true. You're probably right. But if we'd have played against, I'll think about it like this: if you play against the way you did against Alabama when you beat them in the Sugar Bowl, if you'd have done that the next year against Michigan State, in that same game, and then they don't kick a field, you're going to the Final Four again.
Yep.
So that's what I'm kind of getting at.
Yeah.
You need to bring in the same team that was at Columbus Academy, the same team that's been at Heights and Watkins. If you do that against Utica, they don't have great numbers. They're really fighting injuries from the little bit that North Advocate could provide to me. I even paid today. I got a subscription. It's 99 cents a month, turns out.
Oh, that's it?
That's it. So, but they didn't even do a write-up on Granville and Utica. Thanks for that. Make me look like an idiot on my own show because I can't find anything. Because obviously I didn't go to the Utica and Granville game.
I was just at Utica. I could ask somebody.
You probably should have.
Yeah.
But I'll call. I will put in I'm going to pull, again, double duty this week. I'll give Charlie a call, and I'll get some thoughts from him this week. He's a really nice guy. Again, North Catholic fans, not cheating on you. But, it's a good opportunity for me to get practice and with my sideline reporting, because if you didn't notice, it was a little clunky. I tried to memorize it. Don't do that. I don't recommend it at all. So. Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. We're going to get prepped for our next show. We'll get this one uploaded. I'll get it saved, and then I'll upload to all the places later tonight. Let's see here. Again, next week, Andy Bitter's going to be on from The Athletic. He writes for Virginia Tech and one of their main writers. So check us out next week. Check us out here in a little bit. Actually, we have two guests here in a little bit. Will Havanas and Greg Schaefer are going to be doing the East of the Bend podcast. So, I mean, what more could you ask for?
I know, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Two of the, top 50 most handsome guys around.
On Marne Road in Licking County.
In this room.
Yeah, two of the most attractive guys in this room.
Yeah.
We're going to be breaking down some college football. We'll talk about Notre Dame, obviously. Ian Book got the start yesterday. All that stuff. We'll go down the top 25, see where we were right, not very many places, and mostly where we were wrong. And we'll talk about some early Heisman, stuff like that. So, again, there's a YouTube channel out there. All my pregame stuff is out there on YouTube. If you like the 60-second drive with Coach Aiello, please submit some questions. We'll get through 30 questions before the year's out. I have about 15. I'm willing to interchange some of them, and I'm also willing to, take some suggestions, because obviously I need some. If you can do the math there, I don't have enough right now. So anything you want to know about Coach, this is all about promoting the program. This is all about getting you guys to know the new man at the helm. Something, that isn't done at most schools. You don't usually, it's like, ooh, the head coach, ooh, I don't know anything about him. So, it's going to be fun stuff. It's not going to be any groundbreaking news. We'll do 60 seconds with him, ask him what kind of car, what was his first car, favorite athlete of all time, stuff like that.
When he thinks he's going to lose his hair.
Yeah. So when did you lose your hair?
Don't ask me that.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go take a break. We'll be back with the East of the Bend podcast here in a little bit. Me and Willie are going to fight because apparently I've offended him about his hair. So until next week, that is September 30th. We'll do the post-game show of North Catholic and Utica, the Utica Redskins. I'm shocked they're still allowed to use that name. Again, that's my wife's alma mater, so let's go out there and play 50 on them in a great, great game. It's a win that North Catholic deserves. This needs to happen and get these guys rolling. So until next week, go Wave.